Tracking the pulse of the road and the future of flight. From viral trends to policy shifts, we bring you the stories that drive us. Your fast track guide to everything on the move starts right now. From the Billionaire News Channel studio to Mellow 947 BFM, your playlist made better. I'm Paolo del Rosario. This is Shift Happens. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We begin with the latest in mobility. President Bongbong Marcos has signed a law giving him emergency powers to spend or remove fuel excise taxes as the Philippines faces growing supply pressures amid the Middle East crisis. Over at Air Transport, Philippine Airlines President Richard Nuttall warns the country could still face fuel rationing while the government negotiates with China and Russia to secure additional jet fuel, and both PAL and Cebu Pacific have enough supply for the coming months. Officials say further shortages could force flight groundings, highlighting the need for international coordination to ensure stable access to fuel. Meanwhile, in land transport, PUV drivers take to the streets to call for long-term reforms, saying their earnings have not increased in years despite government cash assistance. Transport groups including Piston and Manibela are urging the government to declare a national transport crisis, explore local fuel reserves, while also criticizing the quality of recently purchased oil. Commuters are feeling the impact, facing fewer available rides and higher costs as some transport network vehicle service operators turn off bookings due to the rising fuel prices. Now, we went from the land to the air, and we now go on to sea transport. Now, sea transport also plays a key role in connecting islands across the country, especially on seasons like the Holy Week. But like other sectors, external factors like tensions in the Middle East also come into play, which some analysts say may affect the global shipping. Now, how might developments like these impact local sea travel? Well, at port terminals, do port authorities see any changes in passenger volume so far? And are shipping lanes adjusting in any way in response to global developments? Government agencies and shipping operators continue conducting routine inspections and safety checks, but with uncertainties abroad from possible route disruptions to fluctuating fuel costs, how prepared is the industry for potential impacts? Government agencies and shipping operators continue conducting routine inspections and safety checks, but with uncertainties abroad from possible route disruptions to fluctuating fuel costs, how prepared is the industry for potential impacts? And what measures are in place to ensure passenger safety and reliable service? Now, to help us go through all of this and understand the current situation, we are joined today by Philippine Ports Authority spokesperson Eunice Samonte, live via Zoom. Eunice, thank you so much for joining us here.
Good afternoon, Paolo. Thank you for having us this afternoon.
All right, Eunice, let's start off first with the current situation of our ports. Some people are concerned, especially with the upcoming Holy Week season, that their travel might be affected given the ongoing crisis. Can we get a brief status update muna on how the ports are reacting to the latest crisis?
Well, actually, as of this moment, no, we're monitoring passengers, but not as many as compared to the previous years during this time of the Holy Week, no. We're expecting around 2.46 million passengers, but this is 1.70% higher compared to the 2.41 actual passengers last year, no. So there's around 1.70% increase, but again, this is not sure because we're expecting that some passengers might not continue with their trip considering the high fuel cost. So we're still monitoring from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday.
Have there been any canceled trips or routes so far? We have seen reports, for example, from the PITX, wherein there have been some provincial buses that stopped plying their lanes or stopped plying their routes because of the ongoing fuel crisis. Has there been any similar situations sa mga ports po natin?
Well, good news for the ports and the Philippine Ports Authority. We have not monitored canceled trip as of the moment as we speak. But then again, we're in coordination with the Philippine Coast Guard and the Marina for the shipping line. So we are in the lookout in case merong mga mag-cancel, no? But then again, for us in the Philippine Ports Authority, we're glad to say that we don't have canceled trips as of this hour.
One of the concerns, of course, is still the prices of the tickets. That there have been some reports, if I'm not mistaken, from 20 to 30 pesos for some domestic ship liners when it comes to yung mga fare hikes po nila. Has there been any discussions between the PPA and, of course, yung mga operators po natin ng mga ferries to try to control the rise of ticket prices?
Yes, but let us be clear, no? Marina is in charge with the shipping lines, while PPA is in charge with the terminal fee. So when it comes to the fare, so yung mga pamasahe and the cost of the trip going and from and to, this is from the shipping lines, and shipping lines is under Marina. So when it comes to PPA, what we can control are the terminal fees. And good news for our kababayan because PPA or the Philippine Ports Authority has not increased the terminal fee as of the moment, and we're not planning to increase. No, this is in support of the leadership of President Marcos Jr. and of course one of the initiatives of under the leadership of PPA General Manager Jason Tiago, no terminal fee increase for all the passengers traveling this Holy Week, and also we do have some measures to also help our Filipino workers, especially those carrying agricultural products. So we do have piso terminal fee for those trucks. So piso na lang po yung terminal fee.
Yeah, so that will start on April 15, if I'm not mistaken. Just want to clarify na kung on schedule po yan, that by starting April 15, I think for Class 3, it will go from around 200 pesos, give or take, and for Class 4, from 500 to just 1 peso. Tama po ba yan?
That's correct. Actually, malaking tipid din yan, no? Because from 200 to almost 600 pesos, no? They can save from that because piso na lang po yan. And yes, effective immediately, of course, it will undergo publication pa. But then again, the initiative is there and we're trying to help also and minimize the cost for our countrymen as well.
Well, we're also a bit concerned. Well, personally, I am a bit concerned considering that it is not subsidized, if I'm not mistaken, yung PPA when it comes to the funding, and a lot of the money earned by the PPA is actually through the terminal fees. Will it adversely affect how the PPA conducts its business, conducts all of its administration kapag binaba yung terminal fees to only a piso for both Class 3 and Class 4 for agricultural goods?
Well, actually, this has been the concern raised before, no? Because some groups are also calling for the port dues minimized cost. But then again, of course, let's understand that PPA does not get its money from the national government. So we
Yeah.
do have income and profit coming from these operations. So with this piso terminal fee, this will be implemented for around 6 months, and then of course PPA naman for the longest time has been one of the top dividend contributor, no, one of the top GOCC contributor when it comes to the remittance of national budget. So for us in the PPA, of course, PPA GMJ Santiago studied this personally, the financial obligations of this piso fee, terminal fee, and of course, just to help na rin sa ating mga kababayan.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, PPA did contribute around 5.03 billion pesos to the National Treasury back in 2025. Let's talk about some of the services that you have here. You have a new program called the ORAS program, which will, if I'm not mistaken, try and help ensure that bookings and reservations are done easier and, of course, done in a more contemporary way. Can you give us a bit more of a background sa programa na ito?
Yeah, actually, we're proud to announce that we have launched ORAS, or ORAS is in short for Online Reservation Assistance System. Because what do we do in the ports, diba? Of course, we try to cater the passengers trying to go to their provinces or go home. But then again, time is very important for them. Kung makakauwi ba sila on time para sa holidays, so kaya so for this is the only time that they can go home to their families, no? So ORAS, so Online Reservation Assistance System. This is just a three-step process. You just have to scan, choose, and reserve. So just like imagine this na para kang nasa airport. So when you go to the airport, may ipapakita kang boarding pass, right? And currently, walang ganong sistema sa mga ports natin.
Yeah.
So the management or the leadership of GM Santiago decided that we should have an organized system when it comes to buying their tickets. Remember earlier I mentioned that the shipping lines is not under PPA. So what we can do is we can at least minimize the line going inside the port, and then through this three steps process, what they can do or the passengers can do is that they can already book their tickets prior to their trip schedule. So, for example, I'm at home or I'm in the office and I want to travel in this particular day. So, they can already book by just scanning this QR code or going to the website. This is actually an internal website developed by the PPA. And with this is free of charge. No, I'll just like to emphasize
Yeah.
na wala pong babayaran, because sometimes they can get, links and text messages. It's not from PPA. This one is free of charge. So they can just scan, and then next thing they're gonna be choosing na their trip schedule, and then that's it. They are already reserved. What they have to do is just present the ORAS pass. Kumbaga sa airport, airline, it's the booking or the boarding pass, no? They can just present it sa ticketing booth, and they are guaranteed na makakaalis sila, and they have a slot for this specific trip.
For those wondering, if I'm not mistaken, naka-soft launch siya ngayon, if I'm correct?
Yeah, naka-soft launch siya ngayon. Actually, this week lang siya ni-launch.
Yeah.
Specifically sa Port of Lucena. But now, kaninang umaga earlier, we have launched it na rin sa Batangas and Calapan. And eventually, this will be replicated all over the ports of Philippine Ports Authority. So, with this, I encourage everybody to actually use this three-step process, because every year kasi talaga napakahaba ng pila. Hindi sa loob ng ng ports, but sa labas, because people are trying to buy their tickets, and medyo mahirap sa mga kababayan natin because nakakaubusan ng ticket. And with this Oras Pass, you have a reserved ticket. There is now a certainty na makakaalis and makaka-travel ka sa oras na gusto mo.
For those wondering, because I can only imagine any piece of new technology, especially in a government organization, there's going to be a bit of a birthing process here, or may mga birthing pains rather. So far, kamusta naman yung reception in your initial ports that you have used it in? And do we have a timeline on yung rollout po nito?
Well, actually, that's the thing, no? When we are introducing something new, especially this is digital and this is online, of course, there will always be resistance from the people. But then again, I'd like the people to understand na we're actually trying to put a system sa isang matagal ng problema, no? Every year na lang, taon-taon, pag peak season, meron tayong problema sa haba ng pila dito sa mga pantala natin. And usually, taon-taon na lang din problema itong pagkakaroon ng ubusan ng ticket, no? But then we're actually trying to help put up a system. So with this, we have help desk around the area. So in case may mga, of course, kababayan tayo na walang email address, o kaya yung mga magta-travel with elderly or yung mga bata, we do have help desk there. Andyan na yan sa ating gate side ng mga ports natin, and they will be the one to help you fill in those details. So dire-diretso na yung inyong pagpasok sa pantalan. So it's gonna be like Sa pagpasok pa lang, meron ng separator with ORAS pass or without ORAS pass. If you have ORAS pass, dire-diretso ka na, you can go to the ticketing booth and buy your tickets. And then when it comes to to those without ORAS pass, they can go to the help desk, and the help desk will be happy to help them fill up this particular form.
And okay, so Eunice, we have a lot more to talk about, but we're going to get to that when we return. We're going to take a short break for the moment. Shift happens. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Shift Happens. We're still joined by the Philippine Ports Authority spokesperson, Eunice Samonte, joining us live via Zoom. Thank you again for staying on the line and not leaving me hanging. Pero Eunice, let's start off first, rather let's resume the conversation by discussing here you mentioned ORAS a while ago, and that it's on a soft launch, but then some people would be wondering whether or not available na po ba siya for the Holy Week season, considering that there will be a lot of people making their way to the ports. You mentioned only 2 ports at the moment. You may ORAS, or at least it's already active. Will we be able to see an expansion for different ports before the Holy Week deluge finally starts when it comes to yung transport, yung mga commuters po natin?
Yeah, we never leave people hanging talaga. That's why after we launched this Wednesday, we already implemented yung mga information dissemination, especially with people na gustong matry. Actually, we're actually surprised, no? Because when we launched it on our social media page, the people are actually excited to try it because it's the first time that there's just going to have like a QR code where they can just scan everything and they can just reserve na because every Holy Week talaga no ang aming problema, especially we receive complaints from the social media, yung mga pasahero na hindi na makasakay because naubusan na sila ng ticket. And with this, we are encouraging people to try this, and actually as we speak now, we are monitoring those na nagtatry na nito because earlier we launched na additional routes for this, no, including Calapan and Batangas. And Batangas is one of the biggest passenger terminal buildings that the PPA has to offer. And with this, we are in the soft launch mode. So medyo pilot testing pa rin tayo. But then again, this is a sure ticket reservation for our passengers.
Eunice, we mentioned the Holy Week season. We mentioned the crisis ongoing right now when it comes to the fuel. And of course, yung monitoring po natin when it comes to the volume of travelers. Especially right now, we don't know, practically speaking, kung dadami o kukonte depending on the situation. What measures has the PPA taken to try and address, or what effects have you seen the crisis has had on operations so far, considering that it has affected the entirety of the Philippine transport scene?
When it comes to the operations, of course, ongoing naman kasi 24/7 ang ating mga ports, so we don't usually close naman. But then again, for us, despite the numbers that we are expecting around 1.70% increase in the passengers, but still that's not sure because of the fuel prices. But then on the part of the PPA, of course, we're implementing a 4-day work week para sa employees, and of course that includes turning off the aircon around 4 p.m. so that wala na mga overtime for now, and we're actually trying to come up with ways then on how to save the energy when it comes to work operations. But then again, of course, in the port operations, in the front lines, yun yung mga hindi po pwede talaga na matigil. But then for the office part of the PPA, especially mga port management offices, we're in with the administration's goal of energy conservation.
What I like there is that pinaro po natin that it's a 4-day work week for the office pero hindi po yung port mismo. All right, so when we look at the prices, as mentioned a while ago, yung terminal fees, it has only been addressed, at least you may discount yung agriculture. What discussions have been made with between the PPA and of course all of the governing bodies when it comes to potential discounts for the other terminal fees? There has been a discussion in the past on a potential moratorium on the terminal fees that has been opposed kapag wholesale discounts or at least wholesale moratorium on the terminal fees, what discussions have been going on when it comes to yung mga terminal fees po natin?
Yes, of course, we have to understand this is a big discussion, especially involving a lot of organizations and a lot of government agencies, no? We can't just decide on the PPA alone. So, ongoing pa rin yung mga negotiations. But then again, of course, we're in the state of national emergency. So, this piece of terminal fee has been approved already. And ito yung isa sa mga paraan natin to help the people. But then again, of course, we're still trying to look for possible measures on how we can address other parts of it. And negotiations are still ongoing when it comes to terminal fees reduction.
You know, Eunice, one of the reasons why there was a pushback when it comes to yung terminal fees, or at least removal of the terminal fees, is because it affects the salaries and, of course, the developmental plans of the PPA. That is according, of course, to your very own officials. But at the same time, because we're reaching towards the end of the show, I want to end on a lighter note here and talking about yung future, yung mga plano ng PPA. When it comes to yung long-term developments po ninyo, you're already rolling out yung ORAS, what else do we have to look forward to when it comes to improving yung experience ng mga marine travelers po natin?
Well, there's more to look forward to with the Philippine Ports Authority, no? Especially not only the facilities. If you can visit our port, we do have special facilities for those with children. So meron tayong mga special playroom areas for the kids. Meron din tayong mga prayer room. And if you can see, as being flashed on the screen, this is Batangas Port Passenger Terminal Building. So ini-improve na rin the passenger terminal building, meaning we have water refilling station there. We do have some charging stations. So kumbaga world class na talaga. And if I may just add, no, most of our passenger terminal buildings, we do have some coffee shop inside and meron na rin mga kainan. So the passengers travel experience can be convenient, no? Hindi na yung typical na pantalan na pag sinabing port medyo madumi or what. If you can see, it's been improved already. Okay, so not just the facilities, no, we're also improving a lot of infrastructure developments, and watch out for our cruise terminals in Siargao, of course. And there's a lot to look forward to, especially with our coordination then with other government agencies. Like for example, last year and the previous years, we have launched coordination with the Philippine Coast Guard when it comes to the K9 unit in Pampanga. So for example, in terms of security, we're also upgrading and in coordination with other government agency. And of course, there's more to look forward to, not only the infrastructure, but also some developments also in the facilities and in the port itself.
And of course, one problem I forgot to bring up a while ago, that you mentioned all of the benefits of ORAS, making sure that, okay, sureball na yung ticket, that lessen the overcrowding. Will it also solve ticket scalping, mga scalpers out there, for those who unfortunately would take advantage of some of our other travelers?
Well, that's good that you bring it up, no? Kasi actually, this is one of our problems, yung mga fixer kung tawagin, no, sa ating mga ports. We can't avoid this because these are mga kababayan natin na naka-civilian clothes and, you know, lalapit sa mga passengers and tell them na may mas madaling paraan to get the ticket and mas mura. But then again, triple yung kanilang presyo, and this is not actually helping the passengers, let alone not helping the Philippine Ports Authority. So this ORAS Pass will actually solve that, because in ORAS Pass, if you log in to our system, you will be forced to, submit an identification card, or if you don't have identification card, you can do a selfie. So ORAS Pass is not sellable to other users, and also it has to be you. It will be verified and validated, so you cannot fake ORAS Pass. And this will also save us from the problems from the ticket scalpers and the scammers.
Eunice, we really appreciate you coming on. To be honest, I love talking to a fellow Lasallian at former news anchor rin, so palaging masayang usapan. Really appreciate you being here. And is there anything else you want the general public to know about yung mga efforts po ng PPA, especially for the upcoming Holy Week?
Well, thank you very much for having us here. I appreciate also the time spent. And yes, would like to remind the general public about the things that they should bring no, this Holy Week because most of the people, we have some security measures. Of course, it's heightened alert when Holy Week, no? So most of the things that we confiscate are the lighters, butane. Of course, do not bring those flammable materials anymore. And if you guys are bringing pets or yung mga fur babies natin, please bring their veterinary health certificate and put them in the cage. Kasi usually ito yung mga nagiging problema namin because yung mga hindi maiwan na fur babies, of course, you can still bring your fur babies but bring the health certificate para po hindi maiwan. Ano? And yes, we're reminding the public that the PPA is ready to serve you, especially this upcoming Holy Week. Actually, nagpalabas na po si PPA GM Santiago ng full manpower sa ating mga pantalan. So starting Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday, our employees are also on duty. The frontliners, everybody, of course, the work does not stop here, and everybody else are working together for a safe and secure Holy Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is the spokesperson for the Philippine Ports Authority, Ms. Eunice Samonte. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
And that concludes our roundup of stories driving the industry forward. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Join us again tomorrow on Shift Happens, your fast track guide to everything on the move.